This is Missoula College Construction Observation Report number 6. It is Monday morning, July 20th. We're preparing for a pour that's going to happen on either Tuesday, tomorrow, or Wednesday. And the majority of the pour is going to be involved with footings on grid line E. And I've looked at the footings and they're all the right size and have the right rebar in them. The pour is also going to include all of the columns on grid D. You can see right now we've got columns or rebars installed for the for the columns, including splices of the number 14 bars as they dowel out of the footings. And then what happened here was the number 14 bars, the 90-degree bends on those were not high enough coming out of the column, so we lap spliced 2 number 9 bars for every number 14 bar. That's what's happening on this particular column. This is, I believe, grid D7, but it's a typical situation. So pretty much all the 18-inch square concrete columns now have number 9 bars lapped to number 14 bars with standard 90-degree hooks coming up out of them. Those will go up into the slab. And then the south wall on grid F is, well, we're still putting rebar and forms on that, but that's going to include walls and storefront openings. We've got seismic braces, columns for seismic braces coming up out of the walls. As such, everything is looking really good there too. We changed our strategy just a little bit on grid F. Instead of forming and pouring up to elevation 98.0, we're going to form and pour up to elevation 97 foot 2.5 inches, and that's the top of the rough opening of the storefront windows on grid F. And the reason we're doing that is because of the congestion between the lintel stirrup reinforcing and the rest of the lintel reinforcing with the soffit beam that runs along grid F. So lintels and soffit beams will be tied together and poured with the slab. Otherwise it'd just be too darn awkward to have a little bit of lintel rebar poking up out of this first pour. Also included in Tuesday, this week's pour, is going to be the columns on grid line C. This is C12, this is C11, C10 is this guy right here. Depending on time constraints, C10 might not make it into the pour. Same with C 9.3. Now C9, which is right here, this one will have a seismic brace column in it. So this is one of those where there's a lot of coordination and the column has to be inserted into that. It'll be pretty much the same as C7. C7 has a seismic brace column erected, and but the rebar for the rest of the column needs to be installed. We've got a game plan here for number 14 bars going around this column. If the couplers are too tight against the steel column, then we're going to weld the rebar together. So I'll take care of that. And those guys, of course, come into C6. C6 is another seismic brace column that's incorporated into a pilaster on the re-entrant corner of the building. Anyway, everything looks good so far. Got proper rebar, proper spacing, properly tied. Looks really good. It is Tuesday morning, July 21st. This is a continuation of Construction Observation Report number 6. And what has happened since yesterday is the columns on E-line, the number 14 footing dowels have been installed, including on all these on grid line E. That's the footing at grid 4. This is grid 5, and also 6, 7, 9, and 10. In addition to that, wall reinforcement has been at place, or at least substantially complete, around the 3 or 4 steel columns on grid F, including at grid 6, 7, 9, and 10. Things looks good, except for one simple thing, is that around the steel columns on grids 7, 9, and 10, I'm sorry, 6, 7, and 9, I've got number 7 bars, 11 number 7 bars on the outside face of the 12-inch wall at each column. They've got 10 bars installed in a position adjacent to the column where they could be bent into the slab, but 1 bar right behind the column. So I talked to Ethan. Ethan is going to have that moved so we can get 11 bars bent into the slab. And it sounds like I'll be back again to look at these later. This is on the east end of the building. This is between grids C and D, and on grid 3, where I guess the east end of the building, the wall footing steps. And then what happens here is that this is, oh gosh, grid line 3 or 4, something like that. Here it's the exterior wall of the building. We've got a footing and dowels coming up, and we've got exterior trees. In fact, this footing right here, this one, is the footing that will carry one of the 2 east side trees. The other one is right there. Everything looks good, and we've got proper rebar, proper clearances, and they'll wrap this up, form it up in the next 2 days and pour it. I think I somehow cut off my last couple of sentences, but just saying that I'll be back out here tomorrow to do another inspection before the pour this week. So construction observation report number 6 to be continued. It is Tuesday morning, July 21st. This is a continuation of construction observation report number 6. And what has happened since yesterday is the columns on E-line, the number 14 footing dowels have been installed, including on all these on grid line E. That's the footing at grid 4, this is grid 5, and also 6, 7, 9, and 10. In addition to that, wall reinforcement has been at place, or at least substantially complete, around the 3 or 4 steel columns on grid F, including at grid 6, 7, 9, and 10. Things looks good, except for one simple thing, is that around the steel columns on grids 7, 9, and 10, I'm sorry, 6, 7, and 9, I've got number 7 bars, 11 number 7 bars on the outside face of the 12-inch wall at each column. They've got 10 bars installed in a position adjacent to the column where they could be bent into the slab, but 1 bar right behind the column. So I talked to Ethan. Ethan is going to have that moved so we can get 11 bars bent into the slab. And it sounds like I'll be back again to look at these later.